Hey guys, it's your girl justbree. Um, so I couldn't get back to sleep. I only slept for a few hours tonight. It's about 3 o'clock in the morning. Um, I had a pretty long day, so I don't know why I can't sleep. But it started out with me and my cousin going to Cracker Barrel, and I ordered breakfast and she ordered dinner, basically, or lunch. And then we went to the Sam's Club and she bought up everything in the store. And then I went to her house to help her unpack. And it was just a good day for me and my first cousin to hang out. Um, because through the years it's kind of been up and down and we've lost contact and things of that nature. So for various reasons. But we're back on track, and I can just say I'm super grateful for my lovely cousin. I love her so much. And then she talked me into going out for a drink, which, so yeah, which I really wanted to. I wanted to go home, but I'm like, you know what? I'm out here because I don't really do much of anything right now. So while I was out, I said, let me just go on. She want to go to this little black owned restaurant downtown, and we ended up eating again. Well, we just had chicken wing dip, because I was still full from earlier that afternoon, and we had some drinks, and it was a nice time, and we played taboo at the bar, and we, oh my god, we were so obnoxious. Um, it was only a few people in there. And then not the waitress, but one of the bartenders, she was like breaking down, having a nervous breakdown. So that was a little strange, but it was just really, it was a good day. It was a good day. And we stayed for a while, and we had some dessert and stuff. Um so that was about it, and then she dropped me off at home. So I had a nice day with me and my cousin. Um, so anyway, I am coming to you with this video before I try to go back to sleep. Being that it's Sunday and I don't have any plans or anything like that, so I'm gonna do this video and then it's gonna be a wrap, hopefully, until you know. But so I found this video from this. I've been watching this young man's channel, and disclaimer, copyright, whatever, however you're supposed to say that. I will be chiming in, so I don't know if I'm gonna need a strike or not. But I found this gentleman's channel, the Poor Man's Podcast. Um, Feel free to go check it out. But I'm gonna be using his content um to discuss the one and only Soncerae Smith. And so yeah, check it out. If you like it, please thumbs it up. If you don't, thumbs down. And if you want to share, comment, that's great too. Feel free. I will be reading some of the comments in the comment section, which are actually more entertaining than the actual video. So I might splice the video up, speed through it, and then get to the comment section. Um, what was I gonna say? Can I just say her eyes are really scaring me? Somebody pointed out her eyes in that one OnlyFans, and her eyes are terrifying me now. So anyway, with that being said, and I really love this gentleman's outlook. And be mindful, if you do go check this gentleman's channel out, he's only 25. But the difference between him and Derek Jackson is He's definitely more sound in his advice, more not biased. Very I really like this gentleman. I'm 42. This gentleman is married, and he appears to be very respectful, very thoughtful, um, not judgy, but just trying to, very rational. So anyway, I'm gonna play the video, and also feel free to cash at me at $Candy CANDYLAND 5809. All right, here we go.
Be repelled. Now, I can't teach you how to be a man, homie, but I can teach you how to have a good character.
Oh, sorry, I forgot one more thing. If I forgot to mention, this video is entitled Single Mother Explains Why Men Should Date Single Mothers.
And be more attractive to women. That's all I can do. I'm a woman. I know what women want. All right. And most of the time, they don't want no dusty ass dude that's out here.
She's a transgender, but okay.
Trying to be a player because he listened to some dudes on YouTube. Okay. So I'm not sitting here trying to dog these guys out. You know, they're great in their own way, and they are for a specific type of man who wants to basically have control over women. A lot of men want control over women, and there are women out there that you just can't control. You know why?
You want somebody to control your ass, bitch. Because you know you out of control.
Because they don't want to be your slave. You know what I mean? They're human beings. They're not interested in you controlling them. Okay? So those are the women I'm going to try to get you to attract. Now, of course, I'm a new single mom. I have a 3-year-old. So, of course, I'm going to have some say in this clip right here. Gentlemen, top 2 reasons why you don't date single mothers. Now, I've made my own clips about single mothers, and I had a lot of people mad at me about a single mother clip I made on TikTok telling women, hey, it's your responsibility to teach your sons how to respect women. And if your sons are grown and they're out here disrespecting women and not taking care of their kids, I want to know what you did as a single mother that has them out here thinking that that type of crap is okay. Women with grown sons, your son's behavior is a reflection of you as a mother. Did you enable him? What were you teaching him that has him out here disrespecting women and abandoning his children? Now he gave.
See, but that is with the, and I'm not gonna go for long. Okay, that is with the assumption that most men who aren't in their children's lives is because they don't want to. Okay, and I would argue that most men are not in their kids' lives because their mothers, the kids' mothers, have a resentment issue that the man didn't commit to the mother. A lot of.
And just be very clear. This person, this female called Soncerae Smith, she did speak about moving to California. I will give her that. But when she got pregnant, and by the person she was pregnant by, and he was not in agreement with moving to California, I don't think that there's a rational person who would think that it's okay for you to up and move to across the country just because you broke up with somebody. And she is just okay. I'll let this go on.
Times we see women, they believe that if they have a man's child, that means that that man's going to commit to them.
Yeah.
Even though that man expresses that he wants nothing to,
Nope.
he doesn't want her to have the child. She'll continue to have the child anyway because she wants that man to take care of her for the rest of her life. Turns out he doesn't want anything to do with the woman, and so and out of resentment, she makes sure that he doesn't get to see his children. That's a lot of the times the issue.
And that's what it is.
Let's continue the video.
I have 2 reasons why you shouldn't date single mothers, and let me just say both of them are bullshit. Okay? If you're dealing with the right woman, a woman who has a good character didn't just suddenly stop having a good character when she had children. We don't become incompetent simply because we dated a Dusty who decided to abandon us with children. We may have made a mistake because this Dusty may have been fronting or something, or we may have just banked on a dude's potential. But for the most part, even if we've made a poor choice in man, it doesn't always mean that we're bad parents.
Oh shit, sorry, y'all. These damn commercials.
Interest interesting contradiction because earlier, I don't know if y'all remember, just maybe a minute ago, she just said that women don't want men that are dusty. If that is the case, why did you allow yourself to get pregnant and give the greatest gift you can give to a man to a quote unquote dusty?
Boom, boom. I wish I had a damn bomb. Amen,
That
brother.
is a complete contradiction of the argument that was earlier. And I'm just
Exactly.
going to break this down in terms of the contradictions because they're
It's one after
women just
another.
explain in circles sometimes in these videos, and they generally don't
Mm,
even have a clue what they're talking about.
nope.
But let's continue the video.
Friend and wife is a different role from mother. It's two different things. So if I'm a shitty girlfriend, it doesn't necessarily mean that I'll be a bad mother. If I'm a good wife, it doesn't mean that I would be a good mother. It's two different things. Now,
Mm,
here's what I try to get men to understand. There are two types of single mothers in this world. There are high end single mothers, and there are ghetto, low energy baby mamas. You need to be able to know the difference. If you are choosing single mothers today and you continuously keep having negative experiences with these women, it's because of these women's character, not the fact that they have children. Their children have nothing to do with what kind of woman that they are. You would think that children would create a better, outcome for women. Like they would be better because we have to be more responsible. We have to do the damn thing, especially if we're alone. So we got to go out there and do what we're supposed to do. We can't be messing around. So you would think being a mother would change some of these women who have bad characters. But I'm here to inform you fellas, that's not the case at all.
All right, let's get into it. Reason number one, most times they raise some badass kids. All right, most of them kids got bad habits. They bad in school. They got bad grades. They ain't never gonna be done.
Number one, my son is almost 3, and he says, please, thank you, excuse me, and I'm sorry. Okay, at 3. So it's about who this woman is and what she teaches her children. Like I said, just because a woman is single doesn't mean she doesn't know how to parent or discipline her children. Some women got it confused. Some women think spankings discipline their children. Some women have so many different ways that they try to control their kids. If they don't know how to control their kids, there's definitely something going on with them. They don't know how to manage anything. So yeah, look at a woman and decipher whether or not she can take care of her children. That lets you know what kind of woman she is and whether you can deal with her or not.
As a counter argument to that, I would argue that he was speaking in generalities, of which we normally do. Women like to think of the one case where it works, okay? So a lot of women will go out and they'll.
but wait. I okay. So again, the contradiction. She's saying you could be a good wife and a bad mother, and a bad mother and a good wife. So if the man is supposed to determine your character based on how you raise your child and how your child behaves, and you just said you could be a good character, you could be a good mom and a bad wife. What the fuck? What's
Chase the bad boy in their 20s and get pregnant by the bad boy and then want the nice guy in the 30s to save their lives. And to justify this action, they'll say, look at Sierra, she did it. The one case in which it worked.
Mhm.
And this is what she's doing in this situation. She's like, okay, look at my son. My son says please and thank you, so that's not a problem. But we're saying statistically
Her son
speaking,
can
okay,
barely talk.
if you have a single mother and she has a child, the child is at risk for the child just more than likely will not graduate. Well, I won't say more than likely. The child is more likely than a child with two-parent household to not graduate from college, to go to jail, to go to prison, to abandon his children. He's more likely
Right.
to be abusive. He's more likely to be physically violent. All right, if it's a boy, of course. For
Those are
women, they're more
statistics.
likely to get
Real
pregnant early.
statistics.
They're less likely to finish high school, just like the men. So it does come with a lot of cons, all right? And that's just generally speaking, that's across the board, and that's what you have to look at. You can't look at individual situations and try to find the unicorn. Let's continue the video.
It is very much a determining factor how a woman takes care of her kids, okay? Pay attention to that, all right? But for the most part, if you're dealing with a decent woman, she hasn't just suddenly thrown parenting out the window simply because the man isn't around. I've taken child development classes as well as parenting classes. I took them in high school and in college, and I encourage women to take them all of the time. For the record, I have a group for single moms on Facebook. It's called Black Single Moms We Give You Life. And in there, I get a lot of information about moms. And let me tell you, there are good moms in there. I know a ton of good moms. And for the most part, most
Let's just say on these YouTube streets, the only way she get the only way she'll ever get many multiple views is by somebody else's content. He's gotten 53,000 views in 5 days, 2.5 thousand likes, and he's already got 25 subscribers. And he said he's only been on here since the middle of December. She has 40K subscribers and has been on here for 10 years. Thank
of those
you.
single mothers have been divorced. I do want to continue to keep saying that because a lot of people keep thinking that single mothers never got married or we are promiscuous or something like that. No, most of those women are divorced and these men have abandoned their children
Cite your sources, bitch. Cite them.
now that they have found another woman to be involved with. Okay, that's happening with a lot of women. I'm not saying that's all women. I'm just saying please factor in that a lot of single mothers are divorced. All right, and these men just completely abandon their children. Do a lot.
Okay, as a counter argument to that, I do agree with her in that case. If a man does have a family, he has a child in that family, I do believe that should be his main focus. Now, are men who have the financial leverage in the relationship probably going to have mistresses? Well, if we look at history, I would have to say yes. Statistically speaking, if you have the ability to fund multiple women, you will choose to do it as a man, and that's just what we're looking at throughout history. We look at all the great conquerors, all the great chiefs, pharaohs, kings. Any man with power has always had multiple women around him. Now, do I believe that his main focus should be his family? Yes, I do believe his main focus should be his family, and he shouldn't leave his family to go out with another woman. But my argument for that is not the majority of cases. The vast majority, I believe, of cases are women having children out of wedlock. Okay, and that is a very unique situation. And this is her trying to backtrack and trying to go find the unicorn again. Okay, she's looking for the very small minority when we're talking about the majority, and the majority is black women in particular, and women across the board is rising are having children out of wedlock, and it's becoming a problem because single mother or children raised by single mothers across the board are just at a disadvantage. Let's continue the video.
Single mothers have bad kids. Yes, because they're juggling a lot. 9 times out of 10, they're working so much they're not with their kids. But you have women like me who are stay-at-home moms. I watch my son all the time. I'm always going to be a stay-at-home mom. I'm an entrepreneur. I have several businesses. I can do that. But there are women out there who have to go to work and leave their
Lies.
kids alone often. So, an idle mind is a devil.
She entrepreneuring them Uber streets. Don't let her fool you. She in that car driving Uber for 16 hours a day, which ain't nothing wrong with it, but she's a fucking liar.
Playground. So these kids are out here just doing God knows what with no kind of guidance. Single means one, not really relationship status. You understand what I'm saying? I think people think single meaning like who they're involved with. No, single just means one. Okay, so it just means one parent. So I'm a single parent. But trust me, there are married women out there who struggle with parenting. Okay, so just because a man is there or isn't there has nothing to do with it. The way that men treat women has to do with what they saw women either put up with or not put up with. If their mothers put up with cheating husbands and lying and abuse, usually that's what these guys end up doing. If their mothers were single, most of these men end up juggling women. They don't necessarily keep a solid relationship.
And the reason number two that you don't date single mothers is because them kids ain't gonna leave anyway. They codependent as hell. They ain't leaving the house. You marry a single mother, you date a single mother, that kid gonna be there until 15, 20, 30 years old. That kid gonna be there. You gotta not date single mothers.
Number two, I left the nest at 18. This is something I'm going to be teaching my son. Once you get 18, you either need to try to get your own place or you need to be going to college and living on campus. Not just sitting up in your mama's house, okay? That's not going to happen. I don't know what mama is comfortable with that. Oh, wait a minute. Let me give you an example. Last year I dated this guy, known him since seventh grade. Me and him been dating on and off since then. All right? I'm 40 years old.
See, and this is what women like to do, okay? If you've stuck around for
Dating on and off since seventh grade. Child.
this long, I really want to give you a clap because I was clicking on this video and watching this video with the expectation that she would have statistical reasons, like
Thank you.
factual reasons why men should date single mothers, okay? But what she's doing is basically saying, pick me, pick me. I'm not like all the other single mothers. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? She's not really giving a general consensus or using facts like, okay, say if there was a fact, I'm making this completely up. Don't take this, don't take it and run with it. I'm just making this up. Say if there was a fact that, single mothers are more likely to, I don't know, be comforting or nurturing and their children go on to be successful men more than likely. That would be and she said 50% or 62%. If she came with a statistic, something that is actually grounded in facts, that would make me feel better about what I'm listening to. But right now, I feel like I'm listening to like a story time. And I understand that this is how women like to exchange information, but men like statistics and concrete facts. We don't care
Yeah.
about your personal
Women
experiences
like
with this
statistics too.
situation. We care. We'll care about that maybe if it relates. So if I say single mothers, you know, they usually have mental issues from being abandoned. They may have abandonment issues. They're more likely to have abandonment issues. They're more likely to be depressed. They're more likely to have anxiety. They're more likely to be bipolar. They're more likely to be emotionally unstable. Okay, and then I gave you an example of how that affected me in my life. Yes, that would make sense, but she's not coming up with the facts first. Okay, and I'm not hearing anything that's compelling me to want to date single mothers more likely. Now, you probably couldn't do that for me anyway, because I'm just so far gone in believing that men should not date single mothers if you want to build your own legacy and if you don't have any children. Now, if you have children yourself, you're a little older, it's a little bit more understandable. But if you're in your early 20s, mid 20s, and you're trying to take care of another man's seed, there just seems to be no benefit in my eyes. Okay, you're dealing with a woman who's given her womb to a man.
And I would definitely, bitch, talking to Soncerae, not recommend that my son with no children, go off and marry some chick with a child. Um, I wouldn't recommend it, but if that's what he chose, that may be a different story. It's different circumstances for different people. And I say that because I just realized, I just thought about it. My dad married my mom, who was a single mom with an infant. So, I mean, it depends on the person, but it's not like I'm gonna say I'm gonna be, happy with it at first. Now, if she proves herself to be a real woman and down for my son, then okay. And then he would have to, I would explain to him, listen, you know, you have to really consider, is this child's father in his life? And if it is, it's gonna be problems. See, my situation was my parents decided against my birth father being in my life. For one thing, I was a bastard child. My birth father, my natural father, was already married when I was conceived. So it was a lot easier to say, okay, listen, you know, my parents, they came up with the agreement that we're not going to allow this man to be a part of her life, and I'm going to raise her as my own. And that's a totally different thing because my mother's husband was not gonna be dealing with no another man. Period. So my mother probably had to either take it or leave it, and she took it, and it was what it was, and that's a whole nother story for another day. But I'm not going to encourage my son to marry a woman with a child.
and she has damage. Okay, now you can come in and try to be Captain Save, and you can try to fix all that damage and save her child, but if she ever decides to leave you, in which women are incentivized to leave men in marriage, you're left with nothing. Okay, you're left with nothing. And that legacy that you were building for that child, that was another man's child anyway, it's gone. All that money is out the window. At least if that was your child and a woman left you and took half your stuff, that child could grow an appreciation for what you've done for it because they understand that you're his father. They understand that you're its father. You know what I mean? But somebody else's child wouldn't have that same understanding. They wouldn't have that same connection with you. So you just be another guy that just tricked off hundreds of thousands of dollars in my eyes. But let's continue the video, see if we can get any value in it.
And one more thing, as far as my situation went, my parents had they had split up. They never got divorced, but they had separated. And there came a time when I had to go live with my father that raised me, my mother's husband. And my mother never, went out of her way to say, that's not your child. You can't do this and this and that. Because there were circumstances that surrounded that situation. But I went and lived with my dad. And in another state, he sent for me when he found out that I was living with some other family members. He said, no, no, no. No, no, no. Bring your ass down here. I'm sending for you. My brother coming to get you. Came and got me. Took my ass to the other, to the place where he was. And I lived with him, from the time from I was 17 to 20. Yeah, 17 to 20. I had my daughter and everything like that. Um, I never, even after I found out about my biological father, he was still always my dad because he raised me. And I don't care what my parents had went through. That was my dad, and I was there until the very end, until he passed away. Took care of him, with my brother, my siblings, and So I know that's rare situations. Sometimes, whatever. It's different circumstances. But yeah, I just want to be clear that in my case, it wasn't no, well, he ain't your father, and my mother disrespecting her husband in front of me, like that and stuff. So
I'll probably go for another minute. If it's still a story time and she ain't giving me no facts, we'll probably call it a video, guys. But let's see what she's talking about.
He's like, I don't know, 39 maybe, 38, because he's a year behind me. This man still lives with his mom in the same place he was living when we were teenagers. And I tried so hard to get this man to come move out with me in California, but he wanted to stay
total desperation. I tried so hard to get this man, girl.
in DC at his mama's house. We didn't get married last year like we were supposed to. You know why? Because he wouldn't let go of his mama. Now keep in mind, he grew up with both of his parents. His father passed away.
He just said, I thought she didn't like Dusties. Like, what the fuck? What is she talking about? His mama.
His older brother just got out of prison for murder. He himself went to the military and toured twice. Both his parents still live with his mama. So it has nothing to do with single mothers.
What?
It's just this guy and his own issues and what his mother puts up with. A woman can be married and still put up with nonsense from their kids or their husbands. It has nothing to do with a relationship status. Being single is separate from being a mother. So what I think you guys should start calling women is solo moms. I just want you to understand that for the most part, most single mothers are out here doing their thing because we don't have a choice. So we got to go out here and we got to work. We got to do our own thing.
She said people should call us solo moms. Yes, she goes back to saying single moms.
We got to clean. We got to cook. We got things that we need to do as a woman. We don't have a choice. But for the most part, we definitely want to have adult time with a man. Okay? Know the difference between a high end single mother who has a career, who has her own money, who's a decent person, has a good character, has a good relationship with God, versus these ghetto baby mamas that y'all be running into all the time. They're just ratchet even if they didn't have kids, okay? If you have
Okay, guys, final thoughts on the video. This was a big old pick me session, alright? She didn't give me any
Ah,
concrete facts. She
hit
just wants us
me.
to pick single mothers. Not any single mother, just single mothers like her, okay? So,
Mhm.
seems like it sounded like a Tinder thing. I don't know. It sounded like those. It sounded like those guys are bad, but I'm a good guy. You know
Right.
what I mean?
That's
Like when dudes do
exactly
that.
how she rocks. I'm ending that. I'm gonna start getting to the comments. But yeah, it's not hard to figure out. You listen to her for 5 minutes, and she won't make a shitload of sense. She nonsense. Everything that come out of her mouth is nonsense for the most part. Um, I think she tells some truths by accident, not intentionally. So I'm gonna read probably like 10 comments before I end this. Okay, so Mark Anthony says, I probably won't say everybody's name. Always telling us what to do. If y'all can have preferences, so can we. Amen, brother. Um, Someone says dating a single mom is like someone giving you an empty bag of chips. That whole and that whole thing about this man that she was supposed to marry last year. What the fuck did he have? Did he have a job? Did he work? Did he have a bit businesses, sources of income, which is her favorite words? She never even said what he had going on. All we know is he lived with his mama and he was an ex drug addict. And I'm not even laughing at that. But you can't make this shit up. Um, let's see. Oh, Chantel says she gave her a wound to a Dusty, and now she wants a man to date her and care for that Dusty seed that she really doesn't see the issue in that. Um, Good point. This person, Randy. A lot of children grow up thinking that they have a deadbeat dad, but in actuality, they had a bitter mother that wanted to prove a point. Yep. Again, like I said, she moved from California, expected him to run behind her fat, funky ass when he never agreed to move to California. And I don't know, maybe even if he did, would it be fair for her to stay? I mean, to stay in Atlanta, I don't know. Who knows exactly what the truth is? Um, she said this person says, how can most single mothers be divorced? Says if most kids are born out of wedlock. Um, this person says she's been a single mother for years. She has an older daughter, and now she's a brand new baby mom at 40 years old. Soncerae is a virus. She's textbook crazy. So this person really knows who he's talking about. He's been keeping up. This person says, I'm trying to teach you how to attract those chicks who don't want to be controlled. If a dude is dumb enough to bite on that line, he deserves everything he has coming. There were some really good comments in here I was trying to get to. We had 34 minutes, y'all. I'm going to keep going for maybe another 10, 15 minutes. Um, This person says, here we have a woman who despises a man who she knows having control over her, but is going out of her way to control how men she doesn't know choose to date. Right, the contradiction. Um, oh, this is a good one. Never hear a woman say anything about teaching their daughters how to respect boys, men, and that's the part that's out of control. And I agree with that. And I failed in that aspect too because yeah, I agree with that. And what they see nowadays is boys, men fighting back and not taking the disrespectful crap. Good point. I agree. This person said, I'm an entrepreneur. Really means I sold a couple of things on eBay and Craigslist once. Oh, this person says she's taking her Derek Jackson tips by recording in her car. She's probably a side chick waiting outside the house of a guy she's messing with. This person said, I'm Derek Jackson. I approve of this message. um, uh, mm, this person says, and this is what I was just saying. However, 10 out of 10 single mothers have said they would steer their own son away from dating a single mom. I don't know where they get those stats from, but like I said, I would not encourage my son to date a woman with a child. Um, she'd have to do a lot of convincing to me that she is the woman for him, and that my son, depending on the age of the child, if they're 2 and under, as long as he can have total control over that child, um, and adopt that child, then maybe. So true. My mom told me that, and I always get, would you tell your mom the same thing? Like she's already ahead of me. Wait, what? Um. All right. Let's see. This person says Soncerae never talks about her 22-year-old daughter she didn't raise. Exactly. Um. I said he must know about Soncerae and her history. Oh, this person, Dan Bala, whatever. He said, "Bro, I used to live in Atlanta. We all know about Soncerae. She full of shit." Um, uh, somebody said, "Bro, I knew that was her ass. I was scrolling through to see if anyone else peeped that too." When I was 17, I did what people told me. And not to mention my mom was 21 when she had me. Her husband that raised me, he was 31. He had a kid. My mom had me, and again, like I said, he first of all he was an alpha male. Um, secondly, because I'm sure after the first year or whatever, if he saw my mom like reneging on her promise, like, wait a minute now, nigga, you ain't her daddy, and this and that, and if she started letting my biological father come around, he would have kicked her ass to the curb. He wasn't playing them games. He was not having that shit. He had total control over my ass. He beat me. He whooped my ass when I needed to be whooped. I said, beat. He whooped my ass. He fed me. He clothed me, took care of me, paid the bills, yada yada. But he had to be, you know, he had to be allowed to be my dad, the one and only. Period. Period. Okay? So be very clear. that in our situation, he made my mother make that commitment. They agreed to that. And, being that I was an infant. Now, older children, I don't know if he would have. I've never, even after they broke up, he never dealt with a woman with kids or young children. So, say if I was older and I had my father around, my biological father, I don't know if he would have still dealt with my mom. Okay. I don't know. But being that I was a baby, and he said, look, basically, however the conversation went, if we get married, I'm gonna have to raise her as mine and mine's only. Period. So anyway, that's how that went down.
Because they don't want to be competitive in the dating market, so they just say, "Oh,
Oh no, sorry. I'm gonna get back to the comments. Yeah, this is what she always say. It's amazing how she said, "Don't listen to someone on YouTube," and yet she's on YouTube lying on how great it is to date baby mama. um, it's another one too. Another video he did of her. He should tell the story to the baby. He said she faked her own death last year and it came back to life. I want a Pepsi, y'all. She should watch. Let's see. It might have been the comments might have been better in the other video. I'm gonna upload that video too. I think this is the last one I'm gonna read. He said that woman weighs entirely too much to advise me on my dating decisions. She has poor decision making skills. She allowed herself to be made into a single mother and daily chooses her whims over what's good for her. If she is what's waiting for me, I'd rather stay single. Oh, and then this person says she didn't take her own advice. She was trying to marry another Dusty. Exactly. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you, bitch? Okay, last one. There are two types of single mothers. I'll take her word on that. Both should be avoided. All right, you guys. On that note, I might upload another video before I fall asleep. Okay, thanks again. Please like, share, subscribe. Hit me on the Cash App at $CANDYLAND 5809. Thanks. Hope you enjoyed this video. Peace out.